So Hope, thank you so much for joining us at our garden. This is the big opening day, so we're very happy to have you here. So this is Hope Virgo, one of our very important mental health ambassadors. So we've invited you to the garden because obviously we've had some contact with you and you've shared your story and your blogs with us, and we were really kind of touched by your experience. And of course the garden is very much about a kind of recovery journey, really, from, you know, really bleak feelings of depression and anxiety through to kind of, you know, a better time, a better experience. Effectively, it would be really great if we could hear a bit about your story, Hope, and kind of why you wanted to share this day with us.
Fine. So I had anorexia when I was 13. So it began kind of back then, and I didn't know what it was. I thought it was just a diet, and I wasn't aware of kind of the extent to what it would get to. So I kind of lived with that for a couple of years. And then when I was 16, my mum and school got involved, and I ended up going to CAMS for about a year before nearly dying in the end because the anorexia got so bad when I was 17.
Wow.
Spent a year in hospital, which was one of the hardest years of my life, actually, kind of learning about the importance of eating, learning about trying to talk about how you're feeling, and then got discharged just after I turned 18. Anorexia had seemed like my best friend, but was she? Did she even really care? I would battle with myself at every mealtime. Was it better for me to not eat and feel bad, or eat and feel worse? At mealtimes, I would watch my family watching me as I pushed the food around my plate, accidentally dropping bits on the floor and filling my pockets with it. But it was getting harder. Everyone was watching and waiting for my weight to go up, and instead it continued to slip down. It was getting harder and harder to hide. The reason I wanted to come today was because so many people pretend that life's always amazing, that you're always 100% fine, and it's really easy to kind of pretend that. And I think for me, because I've been in recovery for this massive amount of time and I'm doing really well, actually, like, I do still have the occasional bad day. And last year I had a bit of a relapse with it all.
Okay.
And kind of after that, I wanted to kind of share my story much more. Obviously, I've just written a book which kind of talks more about my experience and my journey kind of through it all, and actually kind of make people aware that it's all right if you share your story. It's all right to talk about it, and it's a really good thing to talk about mental health generally to anyone. Dear Hope, I know you are absolutely terrified of leaving hospital, but you need to remember everything you have learnt this year. It is scary being left on your own, but you won't ever really be alone. I promise. You have people around you who love and care about you. Even when you shut them out, they won't give up on you, but instead they will try and draw you closer. They will be patient and understanding, so you just need to try and open up a little bit more. Try not to box those emotions up. It isn't worth it. Pushing people away is pointless and it achieves nothing. Hang on to everything you have learned and hang on to those motivations that keep you well. Looking back at you from where I am now has been eye-opening. I remember hospital as if it was yesterday, and as I sit here and reflect back, it's 11:03 on a Sunday, and that meant it was 300-calorie snack time. I know you're so scared of getting sick again, but stick with the fight, girl. You can do it. Life is so much better when it isn't being governed by anorexia. She really isn't your friend, whatever she tells you. It is all lies. She doesn't really care like your real friends do. When you doubt yourself and the purpose of your recovery, remember that it is all worth it. You want a job and you want to help others. You'll get a job and you will help others. Don't be ashamed of your anorexia and don't be ashamed of feeling things. I know this is tough, but feelings are exciting. They make you who you are. Use everything you've learned this year to help. I hate her for ruining your life, and I hate her for ruining so many relationships. And I hate her for making you miss out on so much amazing stuff. Hold on to the good times and don't let her smack you down. She will try. She will try so, so hard. And there will be times when you will still want to give up, but please don't. Please don't ever give in to her. She is full of false promises. She is a fake best friend who does not give a shit about you or how you feel. Please, I beg you, just hang in there.
For me, I've worked in mental health for 27 years, and I have also have people in my family with mental health issues. But I have to say that there has never been a time quite like now to talk about how we're feeling and the experiences that we have, which are really difficult. And I think your story is particularly important because absolutely people would look at you and think she's perfect, she looks well, she smiles beautifully, she's, you know, all of these things that people want to be as a young woman, but actually it's not always, things don't always they're not always how they appear. And I think you taking that leap and saying, you know, actually this is a really, really important conversation. This is a really important conversation because there will be other 15-year-old girls out there who are in trouble, and who are in trouble because they don't really know how they're feeling, they don't understand what's going on. There might be lots of eating distress and all of those things. And I think what you're doing, and I think being with us so that we can also amplify your story, is something about breaking down all of those barriers. And you know, we've still got a way to go, and that's why your book, your blogs, all of that is incredibly powerful. And I'm really pleased that you've chosen us to kind of help with this kind of, you know, expression of it's okay to talk about it. It's okay actually to be ill, because you know, if you had a broken leg, I mean, it's a cliche, but if you had a broken leg, you wouldn't feel ashamed about saying you had a broken leg. So it's really powerful. I mean, in terms of keeping well, what keeps you well?
So the main thing is, I think, is I know my triggers.
Okay.
So for me, exercise is a massive issue. So when I first went into hospital, I wasn't obviously allowed to exercise, but before that, I was obsessed with it, would run a lot, do all of that. So I kind of manage that now. I also eat really healthily, and kind of have set meal times and make sure that I do stick to them a lot of the time. And I also try and talk about things. So some days I still wake up and I literally like try on my entire wardrobe and I'm like, oh my God, I look horrible, I hate all of this. But when I have those days now, like I text people, I text my mum, my boyfriend, and have people kind of around me to support me through that. So that then takes away the guilt of kind of then eating to kind of get through it. And I think that's probably the main thing, is it's so easy to bottle up, and especially with anorexia, because people look at me and think I'm 100% fine. And obviously when I was really underweight and really skinny, like people would know something was the matter. So now it's more about kind of removing all the emotion from the food and talking about it as like a separate thing. So being like, I'm going to eat today, I'm going to do this, but I'm not okay.
I mean, that's quite extraordinary. So you've kind of picked up so many kind of tools and really important things that keeps you well. Bearing in mind that we hope that lots of people will see this film, and I hope lots of young people will see this film. If there was a young woman watching it, what is the big message you'd like to convey to her? What is the big thing that is the most important in terms of your recovery?
That my life now is so much better than it was when I was unwell. So when I was really sick, I thought everything was amazing. I had this best friend, which was my anorexia, and I felt valued, like felt like I was really achieving loads, I was in complete control, and I thought that was amazing. And then coming out the other side of it, actually that best friend that I had was a nasty person. Like, it sucked me into this horrible cycle. And whilst there's so many young people out there, and older people as well, who have eating disorders, who think that anorexia makes them feel valued and makes them feel good, like it's not worth it in the end. Like, at the end of the day, that person in your head is killing you, and you need to kind of get through that point and then actually start talking about how you feel.
I really, really value that message, and I hope lots of people hear it. Thank you.